primary question. Will they throw the slideshow? Or nevertheless, the research questions: what specific barriers hinder access to vocational and skills-based training and development opportunities in rural Namibia? Where's the gentleman?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, gentlemen. In my tradition, you must stand when the key speaker of the house is speaking to you. So my apologies. I was sitting in answering. It wasn't meant in any disrespect. So the questions which directed the study, as I said, the first one, then in what ways do these barriers influence youth unemployment, poverty, and other socio-economic challenges for Blockchain? And how can these training programs be adapted or redesigned to better align with the needs and development priorities of Blockchain residents? And it was answered in the presentation as per the specific questions. It was answered through, can they please throw the slide show? Tanya Valamsa. If you go to maybe slide 14. Scroll. Yeah, somewhere towards the end. So the discussions were there, and then the recommendations as per the objectives was there. The answer is, it was answered. They are the findings and then the recommendations. If you can just go maybe 1 or 2 slides back. So there are the barriers. Now forward. Yeah, the barrier plus the description. Each barrier is then, each objective, the research question is then on the top. The research question is, what specific barriers hinder access?
It's not supposed to be
Yes.
There is always a primary question that must be answered by the research. And that makes a contribution to knowledge. So that action is taken on the basis of it is clear. So that the reflection is to say, follow up. That is the question that is answered, that is the action. That's why I hope that was.
Thank you.
So when you improve somebody else answers, take that into account. The purpose of knowledge is action.
Thank you so much. And then the second question on the definition. On the definition, the latest on rural communities, it refers to settlements located on the outskirts of urban cities, often characterized by underdevelopment, inadequate infrastructure, and limited access to basic services. And hence, the need or the thought that this was the most appropriate word to use, rural communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Mr. Charles Mulambo.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I think if I noted the questions well, there were only two questions. The one was something like a statement at first. This gentleman, Mr. Boyce, it was knowledge is superior than information, and of which I agree. And you said now the question was how is the media processing information into knowledge? Which is a very difficult question somehow. But as I said, the theoretical framework, remember I said one of it is data. It's like a pyramid. Those of you who know even the pyramid, that Maslow's pyramids of needs, they are in the same kind of construct. So the data, the traditional DP pyramid, the data is at the base of the pyramid. And then it comes information. From information, it goes into knowledge. And then from knowledge, it goes into wisdom, actionable knowledge. So that was one question. The first question, I will attempt to answer it. And the other question was, what is the cause? I think it was the late, it's you, eh? Yes. Is it Dr. What? Yes. Miss, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know that I'm sure. But you are just coming in when I'm attempting to respond to your question. Yeah. And these questions are very serious. I mean, what is the cause of the socio-technical misalignment at New Era? That was the question. But let me start with the Mr. Boyce one about knowledge being superior to information, of which I am saying it is in the affirmative. Because knowledge, it represents meaning. Remember, data on its own is just a representation, it's meaningless, unless if it is contextualized. So now, how the media is actioning or converting information into knowledge, that is one area where one needs to understand, for example, the type of information which they are collecting. They've got lots of information. Remember I said the media house is a knowledge-intensive organization. So when it comes to data, the data collection, they collect a lot of data, whether from the website or from Twitter, they are on all platforms now. But what do they do with that data? So the challenge is, are they processing that data or information? By processing, are they cleaning it? The same way I was saying that no, we are busy dealing with our research output, because you need to process, you need to clean it, you need to upload, you need to apply the correct metadata and so on. So, but in a media house, definitely this thing is not really happening maybe at the levels we would desire. Although yes, they are producing information, but doesn't necessarily mean that that information is knowledge automatically. But it's information for the sake of what? At least they are meeting their objectives, which is to inform, to educate, and to entertain. That's what I can say. And also editorial meetings, for example, to that question also, in the editor. Remember I talked about an editor. Was every day, for example, they have what they call diary meetings in a media house. So it's a collective thing. So those diary meetings are platforms where they share knowledge, knowledge and information within the organization, so that they adhere to the editorial policy, guidelines, and so on. So in short, a lot can be done within the media houses. And as I said, this is one research, one of its kind, interrogating digital transformation and knowledge management and in a journalistic kind of work environment. Then this one now, the socio-technical alignment, which maybe you derived it from the framework. And when I say there's a misalignment, and how can I answer this? I can say social system or socio-technical, STS, it comprises of three, remember I said people, processes, and what? and technology. So people, culture, and structure and workflows. What I noticed when I was doing this research, I ended up, you know, when you're doing research, people ended up sharing a lot of things with you, which might even go beyond your research purpose, research aims, or research objectives. Others thought that maybe they can pour all their grievances on me. And I said, no, but my purpose here, but you listen. And then you have to say, it's you who has to clean the data. That no, this one is more of a labor issue or unfairness. But when it comes to KM now, I noticed that there were some sentiments about employees very disgruntled and complaining of maybe favoritism, lack of knowledge sharing. Just imagine the irony that it's a media house, but the staff members are complaining about what? Lack of knowledge sharing or effective communication in the organization. And one even said that, can you imagine that we hear things about the new era or what's happening within that media house, maybe from the Namibian or from the Sun, yet it's not covered in their own newspaper. So already you can already see the misalignment there from the socio point or perspective within the organization. Because you see, if you see the effects, one is that it creates mistrust within the workforce. And that mistrust doesn't go hand in hand now with the ideals of KM or knowledge sharing. Because you only share knowledge with someone whom you trust. If there's a lack of trust, you can't collaborate, you can't share openly, even organizationally at a workplace. So that is where one of the misalignment comes in, and also the leadership. I think I heard someone talking about transformational leadership. Because leadership styles are very important in organizational management. So if your leadership style is, for example, autocratic or laissez-faire, do you think it would allow the thriving of organizational harmony? No. So there are some leadership styles which are relevant or applicable to organizational management, like transformational leadership or even servant leadership. So that was one of the reasons. It was about leadership and vision within the organization. So now so that was the source of the social technical misalignment within the organization. It might have been a long answer, but I wanted at least to give context to some of these things. Are you satisfied? Okay. I think, with that, I've answered Mr. Boyce. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much to all the presenters and the contributors and the listeners. We have come to the end of this session. The next session is going to be chaired by Dr. John. Okay, I will not attempt the surname. I'll just say Dr. John. Okay, please welcome him on the stage.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, researchers. And good afternoon at IUM. Thank you very much. You are very good hosts thus far. So we appreciate and enjoy it. So mine is very short and easy. I'm the presiding officer for this session. I am John Ockhuizen, coming from Triumphant, had retired at University of Namibia. So our 14-15 session, that is now Shihaleni, Ndjaba, and then Elock, Vincent, Frieda, Tomas. Forgive me I don't know your titles, and I am just reading as it is on the program. But if you're a doctor and a professor, then we honor you for that. The topic here is strengths and challenges in maritime spatial planning, pathways to economic development and sustainability. And I think since we had a very long coastline and we are blessed with sea and the richness of the sea, I think it is very, very current and very important that we also do research pertaining our sea waters. The second presenter will be Angelius, Liveve, and M. Mukwambo. The indigenous fishing customs to protect aquatic species from extinction. So you see, we're still running along the coastline and in the deep waters of the sea. The third person will be Lucas Ndahaluka Lucas, and developing natural resources management, legislation, implementation, strategy. So this one is then wider than only the sea. And then the last 1500 hours, we will be having the first group that will again present, and they will do regulatory frameworks for sustainable marine ecosystems. So also a very, very current topic that we have to deal with. Can I invite from the group, maybe they had the chairperson or the student that will represent? Oh, here is my learned friend, Doctor, and we had been colleagues in the previous life. So, welcome. Okay, the floor is yours. You can take the.
All right, good afternoon. And actually this venue is very, very appropriate and very suitable for some of us because it's half empty. Or full empty. Not many people here. Well, I'm presenting on the Navigating Maritime Spatial Planning, looking at the trends, challenges, and opportunities that are there, and that is my group members: Dr. Ndjaba, Shikalepo, Dr. Kanyemba, Mr. Shivolo, and finally it's me. I'll try by all means, to summarize this presentation. So I will skip the abstract, just go straight to the introduction. First of all, marine spatial planning. What is it all about? It aims at organizing human activities in the marine environment with the objective of achieving ecological, economic, and social cohesion on how to manage marine resources. I'm sure we are all aware that Namibia, one of its national income, it gets it from our marine resources, and therefore it requires the country to be able to have the capacity, to be able to have regulations, to be able to have all the necessary instruments in place to manage effectively these natural resources, which is, of course, it's not infinite. If not well managed, it's most likely that we could exhaust it and therefore affect negatively our economy. All right, let's proceed. Next slide. So this paper, this presentation, let me on the onset say it's work in progress. So in other words, we're still working on it and improving on it before we can say it's ready for publication in either in our local journal or outside in other international journals. Okay, the research methodology that we used here is the qualitative research technique. You also understand that the research, it was designed looking at a more comprehensive understanding of the issue, the contemporary issues, the contemporary trends in the marine spatial planning, looking at what are the challenges that are there on a global stage, but we also contextualized it to our case to see how we fit and align ourselves with the current trends in marine ecosystem management and planning. So the research philosophy that we used for this discussion is what is called the interpretivist research philosophy, which allows an analysis of action or event that are based on beliefs, norms, values. That's according to Williams. We can proceed. Next. So the data collection, it's more of a desktop. So in other words, it's secondary type of data collection using official government documents, looking at the legislation that's in place that regulates this this environment. We looked also at international journals, articles that have been published, and also yes. So the data analysis, because it is a qualitative study, so we will use what is referred to as thematic data analysis, okay? Because this is an interpretative research, therefore, we are going to use the methods that involves identifying, analyzing, interpreting patterns, and also the themes in the data. So this, we believe, would allow us to be able to have, a complete understanding of the phenomenon of marine spatial planning. Next. Ethical consideration, we covered it. I think that we already know what ethical consideration are. If there are students here who are doing research, so I wanted to go back into it. But again, we are using, since it's a desktop, so we use ethical considerations that are more involved, more that are applicable to secondary data collection, as opposed to primary data collection, okay? If you want to know more the difference between that, maybe we can explain it even more further during question and answer session. The literature review. Our next slide, please. Yes, we looked at so many literature that talks about contemporary trends of marine spatial planning. There where we looked at to Devon, Garcia, and the rest, who are actually explaining about what trends are happening globally, more especially in Europe, where there's also a worldwide quantitative economic development paradigm, where we've seen the concept of the blue economy, which Namibia is quite excited, to put in place regulations that focuses and addresses on how we can manage the blue economy that the country is facing. Now like I've said from the beginning, we've looked at also on the data that we have on Namibia in terms of empirical data, laws, and also studies that were made that gives us, a direction on how best we can go about planning and managing our maritime ecosystem. As someone had earlier mentioned here, that we have a long coast which is quite very rich in terms of the ecosystem that is found in there. And therefore, we need to be able to have the capacity, we need to have the knowledge on how we can, making sure that these very vital resources is well managed. Hamkwaya and others, they are advocating that the MSP, which is Maritime Spatial Planning in Namibia, it is at the moment at an advanced stage. Okay, let's go straight to the findings first, because I've got some findings. Yes, the finding. I'll leave out the challenges and opportunities that are there. But these are the findings that also goes with the challenges and the remedies. So the challenges are some of the issues that we have in, and we'll come up with also some remedies. We'll look at market share here, who asserts that the process should be robust in terms of it should involve key stakeholders. There are so many key stakeholders that you cannot exclude when it comes to managing marine resources. Then we've got data gaps and also uncertainty in this field, where there is insufficient data, of course, more special as far as it comes to the context of Namibia. And there's also uncertainty into the availability of such data in the country. Now we have climate change also as a contributing, or as a challenge. We already know what are the effects and the consequences of climate change. So it also affects negatively our marine economy. Capacity building, we do not have people that are qualified in this country. And therefore, it's a challenge. But we have this opportunity that we can still equip our people with the necessary knowledge, skills that can help us be able to manage these resources effectively. Opportunities, they are there for innovation. Let me go to recommendations. Recommendations, yes. Yes, next slide. Yes. We should explore more opportunities for improving maritime spatial planning in this country. We can also we should recognize the importance of incorporating the challenge of climate change. We should establish mechanisms for enforcing and adherence to maritime rules and regulations that regulate the industry. We should also encourage stakeholders to get engaged if we are to be able to achieve the effective management of our maritime economy. I think with that, I'll stop my presentation because since my time is done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vincent. So we are now calling upon Angelius and partner to come and present theirs to us. The indigenous fishing customs to protect aquatic species from extinction. So you see, I had learned a new word today. Other for that long one, the blue economy. Blue economy is our sea, coming from the sea. And while we're waiting for the other presenter, I think it is time, if we say that we do not have the manpower to do the blue economy and research, it is now for us as private institutions to take hands and to set up a faculty maritime and concentrate on it, and then also train the people of this country, the human resources to look after our blue economy. I think now we heavily dependent on internationals to come and help us out. Do we have Angelius here? No? One? So we continue. Mr. Lucas, Dr. Lucas. Also no. Then Dr. Vincent, is it another person, other person than you that had to do
I'm trying to find out
your second one?
someone else. I'm trying to find out where.
Okay, thank you. So in the meantime, I think we can then allow questions. Dr. Vincent, be ready for the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Am I on?
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern is just in line with what Dr. Ockhuizen has just alluded to, the blue economy. The theme that was, or the topic that was presented, talks about trends and challenges. And I'm just noting here, what about the opportunities? And Doctor is precisely on that point. Why is the study not pointing out the opportunities and get thereafter to challenges and remedies, so that we have a sort of a global, a whole picture of that situation? Because planning means you need to have a whole picture in order to be able to plan forward. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to Mr. Dr. Vincent. No, Dr. Vincent. Okay, yeah, for the insightful presentation. My question is a simple one. Because I heard you acknowledging that, about the importance of consulting all key stakeholders in this research. So, but my question is now, how did you take this into account, seeing that you only relied on secondary data? And did you feel that that secondary data, or that only one way of collecting that data, was the most reliable and and the most informed one?
Any other? The lawyers? You don't want to talk about, to ask about maritime law? Okay.
From us, from a legal point of view, Doc, if we are talking about land of protection, from a law legal point of view, jurisprudence, we focus on the law. The law itself is the primary living source of data. We call it, if it's registration and maybe a court decides about it, it becomes a precedent, like a superior court has decided. If his registration is the statutory instrument which is governing us, or the registrative law. So I hope maybe the person, the scholar, the doctor can also explore whether there are gaps in terms of the law. Because for everything we are doing here, we are governed by the law. If I come and I attack you, we are governed by the law which is living. So maybe the scholar will research and explore and enhance the research.
Thank you, Advocate. I think we will allow now Dr. Vince to respond on the questions. Thank you, Doc.
Let me start by responding to the last comment. The law. We are actually analyzing the offshore documents. We are also looking at the laws in this country, marine laws, regulations that are in place. We're analyzing them to see where there are some gaps. And those are the gaps that, once identified, we will try to attempt to fill those gaps. So that's a very, very, very crucial suggestion that you mentioned. The other question or concern was in terms of opportunities. Yes, the opportunities are there. It's because I could not go into the opportunities because of the time. In terms of the findings are there. Opportunities, and also the issues of what the challenges, because there's no way you can come up with the challenges without identifying opportunities. So the opportunities would be part of the remedies that we could use once we have identified such type of gaps that exist. The other question was about the involvement of stakeholders vis-a-vis the secondary data collection that we've used. Mind you, we are looking on a broader perspective. We are looking at what is being done in other countries, globally, in Europe, America, and the rest, in as far as marine spatial planning is concerned. What are the trends? So we are looking at those trends and analyzing those trends. And most of the empirical evidence that we've come across, they are pointing or suggesting that there is lack of stakeholder involvement. And because of that, we have identified that it's a gap. Why is it that Namibia might come up with a legislation on how to regulate our fishing industry? But this regulation must have an input, broader input from citizens. It could be from academics, it could be from the industry, it could be from consent. See, that broader consultation might be the cause of what probably we are seeing happening like in the case of Namibia. So we are analyzing such type of already existing data and then see how we can strengthen contextually in our case, in the context of Namibia. I hope I've attempted to answer the question.
The second round is there
From students.
Students. Our next gen of researchers, please.
I know it's a very technical subject, but very interesting. Very, very interesting because marine ecosystem, we have it in Namibia, so it's very, very applicable. But we have to have the knowledge, we have to have the capacity to manage these crucial resources for our economy. Therefore,
Now I can just inform the House that we had the Marine Resource Act of 2000, Act number 27 of 2000, that provides for the conservation and sustainable use of our country's marine resources and establishes measures to manage fisheries effectively. So there is an act in place, and we can refer, if we do further reading, then we can use the act. Thank you. So I'm waiting now for the organizers, IUM, to tell us about, Doc, you couldn't find your group.
the person that's supposed to be presenting here, she's busy presenting.
Okay, with another. Okay, all right. No, if it is still within our time slot, then we will allow. So what for now if to continue, but the next person is also not here. Lucas Alva is also not here. The next session is Eva here. Eva Lucas. Dennis Martin Hafeni, Valombola.
Yes, Lucas Ndjaba is here.
Okay. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you very much. So we will give you the opportunity now, and we are restricted to 10 minutes per speaker only, and we're starting with you at 14:46. So it is by 6 minutes before 3 o'clock. You must finish yours. So your time starts now.
Thank you very much. How do I go? Do I come to? Thank you very much. As said, my name is Lucas Ndjaba, and my topic is developing natural resources management legislation implementation strategies for environmental sustainability in the Kubilai-Etosha Basin. So now the sub-theme is harnessing indigenous knowledge management for sustainability. Well, this study was conducted in the Kubilai-Etosha Basin. Now, and according to indigenous knowledge, has long sustained this area, this region, according to NIPER 2020. Now, post-independence, natural resources management legislation have been established as per Article 95 of the Namibian Constitution. And then, however, these legislations are weakly implemented. So therefore, this study explored how indigenous knowledge can strengthen legislation and governance frameworks. The problem statement is that indigenous knowledge remains marginalized while the statutory system dominates. The key question now that I was able to develop is that how then can indigenous knowledge be integrated in natural resource management legislation in the Kubilai-Etosha Basin? So this study was guided by the interpretivist philosophy, focusing on understanding meanings and the lived experiences. The study used qualitative approach with key data collection methods, which are interviews, the focus groups, and document reviews. Participants included community elders, traditional authorities, and the policy makers, as well as environmental practitioners. So indigenous knowledge was determined with customary land and water use rules, the traditional drought coping methods, livestock mobility and grazing balance, and then the protection of scale sites, conserving biodiversity. These are indigenous knowledge systems. And to move to the challenges identified, it was determined, the study was able to determine that there is poor documentation of indigenous knowledge, there is weak transfer of indigenous knowledge to the youth, there is limited role of traditional authorities, and there is dominance of the Western cultures. Now, despite the challenges, the study also highlighted key opportunities, namely, communities still practice indigenous knowledge in daily life. The science and indigenous knowledge collaboration is growing, complementing each other instead of competing. Policy is now available, but it's factually governance. In discussion, indigenous knowledge complements science, enhancing adaptive governance and community ownership. Hybrid systems build resilience to climate change, as well as integrating now indigenous knowledge enhances the legitimacy and effectiveness of natural resource management legislations. Now, the recommendation based on these findings, the study recommends the following: include traditional authorities in decisions. Yes, document indigenous knowledge digitally, promote youth knowledge transfer, and then research global models integration. The conclusions that was drawn from the study is that integrating indigenous knowledge will ensure inclusive, adaptive, and sustainable governance in the Kubilai-Etosha Basin and beyond. This will also This will also ensure resilience in the Kuvela Basin, and it can serve as the model for other regions. So I just want to thank the community, the traditional authority in the basin, in the region where the study was conducted, the policymakers who participated in the study. I also acknowledge the colleagues from the academic space who supported me while conducting my study. Therefore, I thank very much, and I welcome the questions. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Can we give Lucas a round of applause? He was here on the other side that we appreciate his topic. Any comments or any questions? Mr. Lucas, get ready, Doctor, for the first question. Or shall I take three? About three and then four. About four.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you.
Can you read the topic for me again?
Okay. The topic is, because I looked at my study topic, the main topic is developing natural resources management legislation implementation strategies for environmental sustainability in the Kuvela Basin. Now, the subtopic that I focused on is harnessing indigenous knowledge management for sustainability in this area.
Okay, so I was wondering how we got to indigenous knowledge yes. Okay, so my question is, looking at the topic indigenous knowledge and acknowledging that indigenous knowledge, especially tacit knowledge, is very subjective in nature. How best do we transfer tacit knowledge?
Okay. How do we transfer indigenous knowledge?
Yes.
Considering
that it is up to the custodian of this type of knowledge.
Yes. Thank you.
So Lucas, we will go on for the second question.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Mine is not a question. I just want him to go back to the findings and recommendations because it was a little bit fast.
Okay. Findings and recommendations, our operator there, or you had it yourself? Okay, thank you. Can you enlarge it a little bit, Mr. Lucas?
My IT just left.
Just click on the slideshow button there.
Click on the slideshow.
Is it visible now?
Little increase.
Mm-hmm. Based on the recommendations, one day we have to include traditional authorities in decision making. And then the second one, we must be able to document indigenous knowledge digitally. Yes. And then the third one there, let's promote youth knowledge transfer, the intergenerational transfer of knowledge to the youth, as far as indigenous knowledge is concerned. And then the last one was research global models of integration of this knowledge. Then only that way we will be able to harness indigenous knowledge as far as sustainability is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Now you had a question.
Yes.
Unless if you have to send.
Now, Mr. Lucas, I think you must email your presentation for us to one of the. What is the email address? Conference @
No, you can send it
Okay.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Thank you so
time-
much. I will surely do. Thank you so much. I will
Okay,
surely do
thank
it.
you. So we have the next question for you.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, sir.
My question is, when you said include traditional authorities, there are so many traditional authorities, our grandfather, our grandmother. Perhaps we need to be specific. Even Sangomas are also traditional authorities. Because some grew up in rural areas, we were treated by Sangomas, you are having
Yes.
headache and so forth. So maybe we need to be very specific for the young generation to know that even a Sangoma or a traditional authority, someone you see who has the knowledge in our communities can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. That is an interesting. That is an interesting
Observation.
contribution.
Yeah. Thank you, Advocate. We are dealing here with the law faculty, so they will keep us on our toes pertaining the law. Okay.
No, thank you very much.
All right, we have another question for you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. I'm thinking very loud on the basis of a study that was done on the civilization in Africa.
Yes.
And Diop in 1974 article is talking about civilization in Africa. And when we talk about the indigenous knowledge and indigenous knowledge systems, I get the impression that the author here, or doctor, is leaving that in the hands of traditional authorities, unless the traditional authorities are, as just referred to or requested, maybe defined somewhere else in the paper, so that one understands fully what is meant by the traditional authorities, because they cannot be the custodians of indigenous knowledge. Oral history has it that the accounts differ so much that you cannot simply rely everything on oral tradition. And in the same context, what is another point is the promote youth knowledge transfer. Now, you juxtapose IQ, indigenous knowledge, with what is happening today in terms of the techno-scientific progress. And how do you want to align the youth that is so much Eurocentric in terms of their thinking, mindset, because of the colonial box in which we live today, or the neo-colonial box, if you like, or colonial modernity, if you like. How would that be aligned? How would that be adjusted? Indigenous knowledge vis-a-vis the techno-scientific progress that we have made. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Yes, unless there is any other question, but otherwise, if not, let's start through the three questions that came forth.
No, I think
the first question was how do we transfer indigenous knowledge? And this part, I think it was addressed by the recommendations from the study. We may just, I'm now sharing my screen. So, how to transfer indigenous knowledge? We have to do this. Yes, how do we transfer indigenous knowledge? This can be done by, for example, we need to, okay, as from the study, it was recommended that this can be done through by including traditional authorities. Yes, now traditional authorities, to be specific, this include, for example, headmen. Yeah, headmen who are heading villages, how to now when we have to include them, because these are people who have lived, and as far as they have they also, and they oversee, because most of in these villages there is what is called subsistence farming for survival. Now, the land of this post-independence now, the legislations were established. Now these people have the traditional authorities. This indigenous knowledge on how best natural resource management can be, or the management of resources can be done, because they relied heavily on indigenous knowledge management. So now, when we include them now, then by so doing, they are likely to bring forth these very rich insights on how then best this can be done. Equally so, we have to document while then we approach this traditional authority, these people, our elders. Yes, there was a contribution of a Sangoma, yes. It can be a Sangoma as well. That very African science of how best, as far as resources are concerned. For example, a very good example is to say there are some forests where they are grazing of animals or establishing of houses is not allowed. You'll be told, no, that one is ancestral land. This is where some rituals are being performed. Be that as may, it's very important. So we then need to document some of this very indigenous knowledge digitally so that they are available and they are very accessible, so that the youth of nowadays can be able to trace those information. We also now promoting youth knowledge transfer, and this also is in line with the third question that was raised as far as civilization, traditional authority, and intergenerational transfer of knowledge. I mean, we need to, for example, I am a born free, just an example, and I'm a born free. Now I must be, if it's war, how then best do I tell my kids that there was a war in this country? But because there is Namibian history documented, I can be able to take a book and be able to read it to these kids. And so as indigenous knowledge, we need to transfer it to the generation yet to come, our kids, our children's children, that how then best are we able to manage our resources so that the next generation, our children and our children's children, can be able to benefit from them, from these resources. And then now the last one, which is research. We need to invest more on research, global models of integration. More research, we need to invest more into as far as research is concerned. On how then best do we integrate this knowledge? To be specific, yes. Now there was a second question which is talked about for clarifying the traditional authorities. As I've indicated, our elders, the headmen, those people that are heading even say the hookah shops, who is the head of those committees in the village there, who is responsible as far as allocation of rent is concerned. Those people are our senior citizens out there who also are, they will tell us water management etiquette, or how can we be able to utilize the very scarce water available to satisfy our quest. We need to include them. Then we need to, as far as statutory management, the statutory legislation is concerned, let's also integrate these very people, their knowledge, their understanding. Then, then only that we will be able to speak about to the better enhancement of sustainability. And then the last one was more how then best, as far as there is now this civilization. Then yes, nowadays is more about we happen to be more of the modern days, the new ways of doing things. But that's why the study was able to identify that they are hard to implement. They are hard to effectively implement these legislations. That's why there are still environmental degradation. indigenous knowledge is happen to turn a blind eye on them. So we need to move away from it, turning a blind eye on indigenous knowledge, and we need to acknowledge it. We need to digitalize indigenous knowledge. We need to, because the youth are more interested in research. Once we digitalize it, then they are likely to be effective. So with that said, I think I have tackled the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we had only one speaker left, but she is not here, and we will try to fit her in at a later stage. Dr. Gontes, are you here for the next, to be chairing the next last session of the day?
Okay. All right.
So because religious here is Eva here, but it is not Mr. Lucas, that is with the C. That is Martin.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mr. Lucas. We appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
And keep well. A round of applause for you. All right. Thank you. So we're waiting. Are you in? Dr. Gontes? And the presenters are also not here. Angelius? Is there someone on the line? Our crew, do we have someone that is presenting online?
No.
No one?
No.
Okay. All right, colleagues. Anyone here in this house from IUM to come and take the lead for us?
Someone?
Or anything you need amongst ourselves, what has been happening so far that you want to discuss? Or I think we most academics here together, so academics, they can talk. And researchers, they can research.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues. I think what I picked from this conference is if we can have collaborations in research. I see there's some colleagues from Triumphant, there's some from River High Institute, and other institutions. I think it will be an exciting opportunity for us to be presenting together. If we can start maybe as lecturers, as professors, I think our students will also engage, and it will be very exciting. One element that also touched me was the issue of indigenous knowledge. Yeah, it's also controversial. In our village, they will say, even fools grow old. So it's not every elderly person that you can say I get advice from. Yeah, so some of the information that we wish to digitalize, it may be faulty because we used to have some cunning people in the communities, and they grew old with their cunning ways. So if you follow through what they used to do, you can actually have something. Yeah, but just yes, it's indigenous, but it's not on the positive side. Again, some people will say it's the knowledge that we could have manipulated. I think for people from different African countries, the issue of lightning is not very scientific. People may use it as like a form of punishment. Yeah, when people say, I will get you struck by lightning, and they say they have the capacity to cause lightning to strike. But why can't that be converted into something useful? Okay? Yes, we need to have that knowledge. People talk of Harry Potter and the Wizard of, and it becomes a movie and people watch witchcraft on screen. But when you talk of a witch, how does a witch operate with a hyena here and there? It becomes another issue. So, indigenous knowledge, I think we've got limitations on what can be shared and what cannot be shared. Because for most, especially something that's to do with something medicinal for healing purposes, that information was not out in the open. They will say it will lose its potency if you just tell people exactly which route you are going to get. Yeah, so there was some secrecy that created the myth and the power of the herb, where they will say when you want to get that herb, you must take the route which goes to the east. And when you extract that route, you must walk backwards. Don't look back. And somewhere. So I think it will become difficult to digitalize some of those trade secrets. Yeah, I think that's yeah, Dr. Gontes is here. Okay.
Thank you. Very interesting, and I think we have to do some research and write-ups about indigenous information, and then so that we can educate. Here we just here to educate. Okay, our next chair has arrived, and I have the privilege now to release myself and to put her next to the chair and the next chair.
Oh, okay. I'm good. Good afternoon, fellow researchers and scholars. As it is on the program, I am Zoachina, Gontes, and I will be chairing this very, very short session. Okay, on our program we have three presenters, but unfortunately or fortunately, Ms. Eva Ndahaluka Lucas will not be able to present. And so with that, we'd like to find out whether Mr. Dennis, Martin, Hafeni, Valombola, are you around? Or is he presenting online?
I think it's online. I see him online. I see him online.
Or is he online?
Yes.
All right. Okay, is he going to operate everything from that side?
No. Yeah, he needs to share his research and his papers from his side.
Okay, he's there,
yeah,
but he needs to share his presentation on the screen, isn't it?
Yes.
But he's hearing us. Mr. Martin, are you hearing us? Is he muted? Now what do we do to let him know that he's muted? He needs to unmute himself.
You can just tell him. It's the only way.
Yeah, he can't hear us.
He can hear.
But he can't talk.
Yeah, he should unmute himself.
Okay. Mr. Martin, can you please unmute yourself? Unmute that side so you will be with us. Where is he presenting from? Because it seems like we have a network failure this whole day. It's happening. I'm coming from hall 3, and it's just a lot of hiccups then. Has anyone presented online before here?
Yeah.
Successfully? Oh.
More than once.
Okay. So it has to do with an individual then. Okay. 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 What do we do in this case, Mr. Must we move to the next one while maybe Mr. Martin is putting things in place? Okay. The next presenters here, we have three, I think, because we have Mukwambo, we have Hamkoto, and Angelius Liveve. Are they here? Yeah, it seems like they are also online, supposed to be online, they are not here. Yeah. All right. So was this supposed to be the end of today's? Was this supposed to be the end of today's presentations? Because okay, now anyway, I was informed that the group that was supposed to present at 3 o'clock according to the program for Ms. We have Shihaleni, Dr. Ndjaba, Dr. Shikalepo, Dr. Vincent. Dr. Vincent is here, and Dr. Nanyeni, Dr. Shivolo. Dr. Vincent, where is your team? Are they coming? Are we ready?
It does.
Oh, I left her presenting it, so once she's finished this side, she has to come this side. All right. Okay. What do? We don't have snakes. Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Martin, Dennis?
They should,
Wait. So, are you going to?
No, but they've been doing that
Okay,
even this morning.
perhaps-
And yeah, let me find out quickly.
Will it be fine with you? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay, maybe you need to go to hall 3, ne? And then you just, I think Dr. Nanyeni is
Okay.
about to finish with the presentation. because I
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
here in
be
hall 2.
reaching the
Do
end
you
of
have
it.
the number
You just tell
of
her
Mr.
that
Dennis
she's actually
Valombola?
the team is next and
Dennis.
people are waiting for her. And
Yeah,
I'm not
can
sure
you
about
call him
the
because he's
questions and
online,
comments
but
later,
he's
but
not.
just let her know that
It
yeah,
seems he's not
she's
by
the
his
next
computer or something.
beside.
He's just muted. Just call him because he's supposed to present online, but we are not getting hold of him. Well, 2 years. Yeah, I'll sort out all 3 quickly. Okay.
Oh, so were you perhaps talking to Mr. Dennis?
No, I was talking to Dr. Shikalepo.
Okay,
He's gonna
and-
call. He's gonna call Dennis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and Dr. Shikalepo is supposed also to tell him that he is next here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he can just come then.
Okay.
Bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I think he was online just now.
Prof. Dennis.
Hey, Auntie, what's going on there for free? Are you not able to
I'm hearing Prof. Is it Prof. Dennis?
to the online people? But was it working this morning?
Yeah. No, I mean to the MC.
Hello?
Okay, so let me move on. Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. No, I'm ready. I'm ready. Once I enter the call, then
Oh. So he's no longer online. Seems like once I enter the hall. If, all right. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
We are good, sir. How are you, Mr. Dennis?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm very sorry. I cannot hear you very well, and I was in the call with Dr. Shikalepo that you are calling my name and I could not hear.
Oh, but we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Let me just open my presentation, please.
Prof. Dennis?
Yes.
We have been mistitling you here. Are you Prof. Dennis Martin or are you Dr. Martin, or we are mistitling you here?
It's Master Dennis.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Yes,
Dennis.
Master Dennis, that's why I was so confused when you were saying Mr. Martin.
All right, he has 10 minutes to present. Okay, I would like to inform you that you have 10 minutes to present. Is that fine with
Thank you
you?
so much. Let me do very fast.
Yes, please. 10 minutes to present, and yeah, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
Good afternoon, colleagues, online and face-to-face. It's Dennis Martin Hafeni Valombola speaking. I'm a lecturer based in Liveve campus. I'm just a bit disappointed. I was really looking forward to catch up with everybody face-to-face so I can have a very good interactive presentation. Online presentations are always convenient, always good, but they lack that personal touch, that energy of in-person interactions. Let me quickly start my presentation titled The Impact of Teachers' Literacy Beliefs on Instructional Practices in Early Childhood Education. Background of the study, problem statement, purpose of the study and objectives, literacy, methodologies, data collection procedure, data analysis, presentation of findings, conclusion, recommendations. This study focuses on teachers' literacy belief towards instructional strategies in early childhood education. Reading instructional methods have been attracting the attention of all the countries, all the ministries in different countries. So it's a situation that has everybody's attention. The Namibian government has shown its great commitment, its great interest also by signing different conventions on child's rights, ratifying other international agreements that deals with literacy. Anything that is to numeracy and literacy, our government is committed to take part. Also, collectively, the international society has organized and recognized the advantage of early reading skills and knowledge. And now, looking at the barriers, which is fast and affecting a number of developing and developed world, people are now trying to come together so they can have some good intervention. The statement of the problem has a number of reasons here, which include the challenges relating to quality of education. Because the moment we have a problem with literacy, then we are compromising the quality of education. We have seen our minister, Dr. Steenkamp, was talking about Namibia having a crisis of literacy and numeracy. So UNICEF also have reported that Namibia has insufficient early childhood development services. It means when you go to regions, you might even find villages without any of those ECD and ECD services. So we are looking at now the methods that should be utilized when we are dealing with this literacy intervention. We have to look at which are the best strategies. Where do we start? What must we do? Which is the best strategy to teach literacy? And the purpose of this study is to establish the impact of teachers' literacy beliefs on instruction and practices in early childhood education. The research objectives is to investigate the relationship between teachers' beliefs and their instructional practices in early childhood education. Also to identify how those beliefs are formed and influenced by such of learning experience, activities, and learning cultures. Also to offer recommendations for improving teachers' literacy beliefs during instructional practices in early childhood education. The literature I found, which is helping us to understand the title is to find the one related and the one guiding the study, like according to Tomas et al. 2018 found out that literacy interventions such as play-based can be used when children are reading books with young literatures. Also, according to Scholars 2022, teachers' beliefs on literacy play a very important role on how well learners can be able to learn reading and writing. According to Ockhuizen, teachers must process enough language proficiency activities in order to make sure that our learners understand the language. This relates also to what February found, who assessed that effective reading instruction depends on teachers' comprehension. It means here the teacher should be well read, should be well prepared, so that he will be able to come up with relevant, effective activities that can help the learners. The methodology used is interpretivism, which is most appropriate in this study. It underlines research study whose aim is to understand and to describe human behavior through the conceptualization. The qualitative research approach was used since it makes it easy to collect data directly from the participants. And this research study used a case study which allowed the researcher to get matters into it, which now allowed the researcher for this study to gain enough comprehension of the topic at hand. Interviews were used to interview teachers and head of departments. The researcher used a smartphone to record the audios. It took about 8 weeks in the field for the researcher to collect data. The data of this study were thematically analyzed, and the audio recording of the interview were transcribed. The data were identified in theme, patterns, and categories according to the themes created, so the information should be grouped and make a meaning to the readers. The presentation of the findings found that the teachers are made to follow the content, like the teacher's guide, the IPM, integrated planning manual, without complementing their choice of instruction. This is not the belief. Sometimes they are so cornered, they must do this, they must do that, and their beliefs, their concept, their ideas has been ruled out. They are not really allowed to come in with what they think is right when teaching, reading, and writing is involved, because they are just following the document of which they are not part of it. They are only following something, and in the end, those who decide to do it their way, they succeed. That's the reason why you go to a certain school, they have 3 groups of grade 1s, but when you go to grade 1C, it's better than grade 1B and A. When the children were randomly selected, it was never like, this is the best one, we must put the best one in one group. They were just randomly selected, but you will realize that grade 1C is better than other grade groups, because the teacher decided to use his own beliefs, he used his own approach and strategies that will work to make sure that children are reading and writing. The study concluded that teachers should make use of their beliefs during their instruction. Also, teachers should use see, show, say, and hands-on method approaches to accommodate learners' ways of doing things, learners' ways of learning. Because when we use the see, show, say, we demonstrate. Children see what teaching models we have. We show how things happen, and they say it again. They do it. And hands-on method allows children to be able to make use of the teaching media brought to class to manipulate learning. Also, the study concluded that teachers should use play-based instruction because it allows the teacher to come in to see that now children at this level of the game, they need to shift, they need to slower, they need now to jump on the drawn numbers or letters on the floor, singing like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, jumping on the letters drawn on the floor. Or when you are teaching mathematics, you have to call it a mathematics song. You talk about the numbers in the song to them. No, this is a C, show, say approach. They will be able now to see what the teacher does. They enjoy how they are going to jump into the islands of numbers or letters on the floor. The recommendation for the study is recommending that literacy instruction should also be done using digital tools because children are more interested in using these electronic devices. It's the generation that comes with what we want. The study also suggests that teachers' ideas, teachers' concepts should also be incorporated in a document that guides them on how to teach reading and writing. And we have also to highlight the sustainable literacy in goals, in sustainable development goals for 2030. The ministry should also enforce the implementation of SDG, Sustainable Development 4, Target 4.3, which focuses on preparing children for equitable and quality pre-primary education by implementing literacy instruction. The ministry here should also organize refresher training on all the programs that were put in place, like the Joy Phonics, the Joy Grammar, so that they can stand in as the programs for literacy intervention, so that also now teachers should be able to link, should be able to connect and peg their beliefs on the programs that were provided by them. Thank you very much. It was a little bit longer than the 10 minutes that I got. That was my presentation. And I'm very much sorry to my colleagues who are online and face-to-face. Maybe I was too fast, but I think I did them justice in this titled presentation, the impact of teachers' literacy views on instructional practices in early childhood education. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dennis, for a beautiful presentation. You really run it nicely, and where you highlighted about the insufficient early childhood development services in Namibia. I like that one. And then that you looked into say teachers should be allowed to use their own creativity and approaches to teach learners how to read and write. Thank you so much. We'll get back to you during the comments and questions. Just hang on there. All right. We have the next presenters. Dr. Mwange, I saw your team here, and I'm not too sure whether they're ready to present. They left everything in your hands, ne? And they say, since you sat there, so yeah, do it on our behalf. I saw them. All right, Mr. Dr. Mwange. So they're coming here. Okay, colleagues. that some presenters are moving from hall 3 because of technical problems, so they have to move to this hall. And they are very, very few because they are also towards the end of the what? There are only 2. Thank you so much, Dr. Blessing. There are only 2, so after Dr. Mwange, we'll have 2 more presenters, so please we'll stimulate you around. Are they coming with their own chair? No. You are chair. They have to come with their own chair. No, not the chair for sitting, the chair for chairing, the person to chair what they are presenting. Oh, all right. I have a whip for them.
We're still trying to put it on this.
Okay.
Maybe someone else can.
Yeah.
Are you already online?
Please just bear with us. Doctor is trying to connect.
Are you online already?
He will definitely. To put it back, I drop it for the second time. If Dr. Sophon is failing, why can't we use the colleagues? If Dr. Sophon is not making it, why can't we use the...
He wanted to... The PowerPoint is on his phone.
Oh, only?
I can just read, but I thought people should see what I'm talking about, yes. But if they don't mind, you can just do it. You can just do it. Once it goes through. Yeah, then I'll put it up.
I was thinking while you are starting, maybe we can, then maybe your colleagues can bring the USB or something. Don't they have it? Oh, okay.
Hello? Should I use this? Any is okay. Can you use any of them? My earlier presentation, good afternoon again, was on Maritime Spatial Plan, looking at the challenges as well as the opportunities that are there in the Maritime Spatial Plan. This next presentation, it's partially related. It looks at the regulatory frameworks as enablers for sustainable marine ecosystem. Regulatory frameworks as enablers for sustainable marine ecosystem. Now, I'll just go straight into the research aims, objectives. I don't know whether they're interested in the theoretical lens or probably just go at the importance of marine ecosystems, maybe. Pardon? Okay. Yes. Maybe, yeah, I'll cover that. The challenges as well. It's also a methodology, it's also a qualitative approach that we are using. And I'll skip the literature, go into the importance of marine ecosystems. First of all, we've seen countries coming up with climate regulations that has to do with carbon sinks, oxygen production, and we have it. All this aims at regulating our world to make it more safer, to make it more habitable, for both human beings, animals, and you name it. Also, the importance of marine ecosystem has to do with biodiversity, where we look at what are the issues or measures that are in place for, to enable our genetic resources to flourish. Then we have economic resources that are found in the marine ecosystems, that is fisheries, fish. We've got Ministry of Fisheries, where we have fish that brings a lot of income, national income to the country. Then tourism, biotechnology as well. Then the livelihood. We are aware that millions, when I'm talking about millions, talking about the population of this country, also other countries outside Namibia, depend on small-scale fisheries. More especially when we know that the majority of our population, they live on the river, along the rivers. So they spend most on their livelihood engaged in small-scale fisheries. So it's very, very important if such fisheries could be maintained or sustained for a long time to come. Now, under Namibia's marine context, we have what is called the Gua Current Large Marine Ecosystem, which is highly productive. It's one that is responsible for providing conditions for our eco-inhabit elements that live in our oceans to be more productive and produce more. Then we have got the Namibia's marine context. We have fisheries, which is the second largest foreign exchange earner. That is after mining, and it supports almost 11% of our population. The challenges in the case of Namibia to make our fish or our ecosystem to be more sustainable and manageable. The challenges overfishing and the illegal practices. Okay. Then we have got marine pollution, like plastics that have been thrown around. They might find their way in the ocean or through in our rivers. Oil spills, mining, climate change, warming, the weather, the El Nino events. Then we've got the habitat destructions and invasive species, weak regulatory enforcement in the marine planning. That is one of the challenges Namibia experiences. Now, when you look at the global best practices, which Namibia can also learn from, is from Australia, where they've got the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority. When you look at Seychelles, also in Africa, we have participatory marine spatial planning across the EEZ. We have the EU integrated MSP frameworks. Then we have also lessons that we can learn from these countries, like stakeholder participation, adaptive governance, and climate smart maritime spatial planning. Now, Namibia has got efforts in place. For example, in Namibia, we have Marine Resources Act of 2000. Then we've got the Coastal Management Policy of 2009. We have the Benguela Current Convention, which is, of course, a regional cooperation in the SADC region. Then, however, there are gaps, weaknesses. That's what we are more interested in as researchers. There is, despite all these regulatory frameworks in place in this country, there's weak implementation. There's also limited monitoring. There is, above all, minimal stakeholder engagement. This makes our marine ecosystem not to be effectively managed because of these challenges. Now the findings: effective frameworks, accountability, balance, competing uses, embedded sustainability. This is what we have uncovered. There's also what we call upset frameworks for ecological harm, reduce socio-economic returns. Now, these are some of the issues that this paper has identified. Now we have the following recommendations. The first recommendation is to strengthen legal and enforcement capacity. The regulations are there, but they are not adequately enforced. The rules are there, but there are no mechanism, effectively monitoring mechanisms. Then the second recommendation is we should adopt climate smart marine spatial planning. We should integrate indigenous knowledge. My colleague had gave a very interesting comment on indigenous knowledge, but there are some indigenous knowledge that would be very helpful, that can assist Namibia to maintain, to manage and sustain its marine ecosystem. We should also expand stakeholder engagement. And lastly, continuous monitoring and adaptive management. These are some of the recommendations that has come up with. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Mwange, for a brief presentation. I'm not from that area of marine related, but anyway, I was able to follow, and I picked something very, very interesting, saying that Namibia should learn what other countries are doing, such as Australia, and then they should adopt, enforce the legal practices and adopt the climate related, and introduce IK, here to sustain marine. Wow. Beautiful when you're listening to something that you are somehow not good at, but at the end of the day, you picked something. All right, I'm not too sure whether we have the presenter who was online was getting ready. Is he ready now? Because he was someone saying, okay, they are both ready then? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay, yeah, I remember him on the program. Okay, Mr. Masia. Mr. Masia, are you there? Maybe he's on mute again.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Masia.
A very good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, thank you so much. Go ahead, you have 10 minutes to present.
I'll try to
yes.
Into 10 minutes.
Yes, please. Thank you. All the best.
Are you able to see the presentation slide?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Go by wind.
Okay, I hope you are able to see.
Yes, Mr. Masia, we are here, please. We are listening to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. I co-authored this paper with Vincent, and the title of this paper is Navigating Crisis in Vulnerable Sectors, Preparedness and Crisis Management Among Hospitality SMEs in Namibia's Elock region. Business growth and survival is hinged on the ability to navigate various crises they are susceptible to. The hospitality sector is particularly vulnerable to a number of things ranging from tourism demand fluctuations, socio-economic downturns, pandemics, and environmental shocks. This is more real for SMEs operating in the Elock region because of the increased activity in mining, tourist attraction, landscape, and the Walvis Bay port, which is a gateway to landlocked countries in SADC region, the likes of Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Zambia. Obviously, this convergence of activities creates even a more vulnerability to the SMEs due to increased leisure and business travel. SMEs contribute to the economy by provision of jobs and also services that larger business may be reluctant to provide. Yet their preparedness against crisis is pertinent. What we found in reviewing literature is most studies about crisis management focus only on large enterprises and developed economies. The study we carried out underscores the need to close this gap by taking a particular aim at SMEs in developing contexts like the one of Namibia. This study was guided by a tri-theoretical framework integrating the resource-based view, the contingence theory, and the dynamic capabilities theory. Each lens provided a complementary perspective for interpreting how hospitality SMEs prepare for, respond to, and learn from crises. From the resource-based view, crisis preparedness was understood as a function of resource accumulation and internal capability. The findings confirmed that financial capital, skilled personnel, managerial experience are critical, but then they are scarce when we look at SMEs in this region. Through the contingent theory perspective, the study recognized that crisis response strategies must be context-specific. SMEs must align their actions with the fragility of their institutional and environmental settings. What works in larger firms might not be appropriate for smaller businesses in the coastal region of Namibia. The dynamic capabilities theory highlighted the importance of agility. SMEs that can sense emerging threats, seize new opportunities, and reconfigure their operations are better positioned not only to survive, but to build robustness for future crises. So this adaptive cycle of sensing, seizing, and transforming was central to the framework guiding both data collection and interpretation. The study employed an exploratory sequential mixed method design, a strategy that is particularly suitable for investigating other research phenomenon such as crisis management amongst hospitality SMEs. So this design allowed for an initial qualitative exploration followed by a quantitative validation and generalization. During the quantitative phase, 24 in-depth sales-structured interviews were conducted with SME owners and managers across Office Bay, Swakopmund, Arandis, and Kanyemba. The interviews sought to capture lived experience, perception of preparedness, and crisis response, as well as the recovery pathways. This data were analyzed through thematic analysis, which enabled to identify recurrent patterns, emerging themes, and contextual nuances. These qualitative insights formed the empirical foundation for developing subsequent survey instruments. The questionnaire that was distributed yielded a response of 162 samples. The responses were subjected to descriptive and inferential statistics analysis, including t-tests and analysis of variance to examine the variations in preparedness levels, crisis management practices, and recovery outcomes across different businesses. The integration also of quantitative and quantitative data facilitated the methodological triangulation, enhancing the study's validity and providing a comprehensive understanding of how SMEs prepare for, respond to, and recover from crisis in a resource-constrained environment. Now I'm going to move on to the findings. The main findings of our research revealed a concerning lack of formal preparedness among hospitality SMEs. Only 21.6% had formal crisis plans of the subject enterprises. Most of the enterprises rely on ad hoc arrangements and improvisation. One of the participants bluntly said, "We just hope nothing bad will happen, and if it does, we just assign, I will just adjust." A sentiment that underscores the widespread dependence on intuition and ad hoc decision making rather than formalized strategies. This reliance on gut feeling leaves firms vulnerable to repeated shocks and cyclical disruptions. We also found out that there is lack of training and scenario planning amongst the SMEs in the Elock region of Namibia. 75.3% reported to never have given or have received formal crisis training. And they gave excuses related to limited financial resources, time, and they rather focus on their core areas of business, which means that their survival is based on only short-term strategies, not long-term strategies. One of the participants said, "No, training, we don't have time or money for that. We deal with situations as they come." In addition, many participants also direct some criticism towards government institutions and industry associations such as the local tourism bodies and municipal structures, accusing them of neglecting them. They say they are being so isolated from big companies when it comes to institutional support and mechanisms. From the resource-based view, perspective, the findings reveal that most hospitality SMEs lack the critical resources they require to prepare effectively for crisis. Financial capital shortages, limited access to credit, and inadequate intangible assets such as managerial expertise, crisis planning, skills, and information systems constrain their ability to act proactively. Consequently, these firms tend to adopt short-term reactive strategies focused on survival rather than long-term resilience. This aligns with the RB view argument that sustainable preparedness depends on accumulation and strategic deployment of valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable resources. However, from the contingent theory lens, the study observed that some SMEs manage to convert their ad hoc experience-based responses into structured adaptive routines. By aligning these crisis response to their realities of their current environment, these SMEs gradually build what we can term contextual resilience, a form of robustness that emerges from learning by doing and incremental adjustment. Overall, the evidence suggests that SMEs remain reactive rather than proactive, which weakens their structural robustness and limits their capacity to anticipate or mitigate future crises. Yet the few that are institutionalized lessons that they learned during crisis to contextual conditions demonstrate the potential to evolve from vulnerability to resilience. Well, now I'm going to move on to the contribution of our study. Our study contributes to both academic and practical domains of crisis management. From an academic perspective, it addresses the critical gap in the literature by examining how preparedness and response unfold within resource-constrained developing country contexts. Much of the existing literature focuses on large firms in developing economies, leaving limited empirical understanding of how SMEs in the fragile institutional setting mobilize scarce resources, learn from adversity, and adapt to recurring shocks. By applying the integrated resource-based view, contingence theory, and dynamic capability theory frameworks, this study offers a contextually grounded and theoretically enriched understanding of SME resilience in the Namibian hospitality sector. And from the practical standpoint, the findings underscores the agent's need for developing a context-specific crisis management frameworks tailored to the realities of local SMEs, investing in capacity building and continuous training to strengthen managerial and operational readiness, and also enhancing institutional scaffolding and early warning systems to ensure coordinated crisis detection, communication, and support across the sector. So, together, these contributions advance both theoretical discourse and actionable policy interventions for building resilient SMEs ecosystem in Namibia and similar developing countries. To conclude, hospitality SMEs in Namibia's Elock region remain structurally unprepared for crisis, relying on reactive intuition-driven practices. We therefore argue that resilience requires more than just resource accumulation. It demands adaptive learning, context-specific strategies, and stronger institutional partnerships. I hope I tried to fit everything in 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Hello?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Masia. You're always worried about us. We are here. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, which is an eye-opener. Because some of us have a perception based on observation that SMEs are dying natural death here in Namibia, but here you come, you worry, and thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much for the presentation, indeed. Okay, the next, which is the last presenter, Mr. Hafeni, Dr. Hafeni. Dr. Hafeni da Silva, Ishitelwa. Doctor, are you there?
Yes. Let me just, yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to get the presentation ready.
All right, Doctor, you're welcome, and you have 10 minutes to present.
Someone else is still sharing, so I think they should just exit, then I'll then be able to share here. So just end sharing.
The previous presenter must stop sharing.
Okay, Mr. Masia? Mr. Masia, are you there? All right, yes, please, can you please stop sharing so that Dr. Da Silva will start presenting. You stop sharing that side for Dr. Da Silva to start sharing. Okay. Dr. Da Silva, there's something that you need to allow.
No, he's still, someone else is sharing.
Or is it still on?
Yeah, he needs to
Dr.
stop sharing.
Mr. Marcia? Mr. Marcia? Martin? Oh. Still sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go now.
it's open now.
All right.
Share. That should be up.
Yes. But you have to close this. There is, yeah. Okay.
What should that?
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah, is it up now?
It's up. You're all the best.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. We're just sharing briefly on the financial performance of state-owned enterprises in relation to their role in the attainment of Vision 2030 in Namibia, and we're just examining whether the government's expectations align with this very important vision that has been outlined. So Namibia aspires to be a developed and industrialized nation. And as you are all aware, Namibia's Vision 2030, which is a strategic blueprint aimed at transforming Namibia into a middle income. And for this to materialize, among other aspects, which is mining, tourism, and other industries, state-owned enterprises have actually been earmarked as key drivers for this economic and very important growth to social development, because they contribute about 10% of global GDP and about 3.5 trillion in joint sales of the global GDP. And in Namibia, they contribute as well to the GDP and as well as the economic growth and the infrastructure development, as well as the social welfare and strategic sectors. So these SOEs are very important entities, and their revenue contributes to this to the vision that is been earmarked. Upon this, the realization then of this Vision 2030, it has been designed since 2004, and Namibia then began a policy of consolidating these entities since 1991, when they only had 12 SOEs that they inherited from the colonial era, to 81 SOEs that we currently have. So that is why it's very important then to assess the financial health of these entities and just introspect whether they are really contributing to this vision. SOEs, as I just mentioned, they are very key drivers, and among them, such as NamPower and NamWater, these Tier 1 SOEs, they really play a very instrumental role in providing essential services and as well as fostering industrialization and creating employment opportunities that has been earmarked in Vision 2030. But despite that, they face quite a variety of challenges, such as inefficiencies, governance issues, financial losses, as it's been reported in media, both at home and abroad. And they also have been really reported with a couple of leadership and governance issues that has been attributed to poor performance. So if you look at the budget, for instance, about 2/3, half of the size of the annual development budget is allocated to funding SOEs, but they still fail to control the performance of the government's investment into these entities. So those are the questions. What is the actual problem then? Many SOEs, which are supposed to contribute to the development of this vision, they are underperforming terrible, very terrible. And there's also been a lot of discrepancies between the government expectations that they expect these entities to perform, as well as the actual performance. There's also been a lack of alignment in terms of the current strategies that have been employed by these SOEs versus the goals of Vision 2030, which is industrialization, ensuring that we have a prosperous nation, which is just for about 4 years down the line. So these SOEs have also been deliberately in bailouts, and most of them have actually never declared dividends in the government since their inception. So among the scholars and contributors to these very important entities has been Sharma and Sort, as well as the Organization of Economics and Cooperation Development, as well as IMF and World Bank. They've done a couple of studies just to really evaluate the integral part that these entities plays in terms of employment. They promote infrastructure development, as well as employment creation. So some studies have also shown that well-managed SOEs can serve as catalyst for industrialization, as it has been seen in other parts of the world to those SOEs that are currently performing. Other studies also emphasize that SOEs contribute significantly to the economic stabilities and aligned, their performance aligned with the national policies. So their ability to mobilize resources and implement infrastructure projects, as well as stabilize essential services, underscores their importance. That's why these entities are very important and they should be expected to perform. But if they are poorly governed, as it has been the case, is reported by Ben and Omdan in 2019, they become really fiscal burdens to the state, and they impede on the economic progress. So that's very important for these entities to optimize their performance. So some studies have also demonstrated strong leadership and governance correlate positively with financial performance. That's why it's very important to emphasize on leadership, that these entities that propel these entities to perform. Studies such as those of Kube and others highlight that many African SOEs, they operate under politicized governance frameworks that are underpinned by political interference. Leaders are appointed on political merit as opposed to credentials. There's been a lot of corruption and mismanagement. There has been a lot of couple of reports that relates to SOEs. IMF also indicated that certain trends, recent trends over the years, indicates financial decline in these entities, as well as profitability that is expected of them. So the literature also indicate that despite extensive research on SOEs, financial health and their financial performance, there's been a notable gap that exists in terms of linking these entities into that of Vision 2030. Few studies have systemically analyzed whether the financial sustainability and operational efficiencies directly support Namibia's strategic goals. So that's why it's very important for this study then to analyze these gaps and then come up with remedial issues to address these gaps in order to come up with remedial actions, such as reforms that would then be very instrumental in this reforming these entities that will add value to the state. So the studies applied the mixed methods. 10 SOEs were selected and 2 line ministries where semi-structured interviews were conducted with 14 informants through a purposeful sample. The study applied the pragmatic philosophy and the analysis tool were financial ratios as previously stated to compare the trends as well as the comparisons in terms of financial performance of the SOEs. The data were then subsequently analyzed using the content analysis techniques. So the study found out that there's been a couple of variations among different SOEs. Some were profitably performing very well. Some SOEs are however struggling with high debt levels and low profitability, indicating operational inefficiencies, governance issues, including poor management practices, lack of accountability, and they appear to be significant contributors to underperformance. These are some of the findings, and also some SOEs has been reported to have a trend of being bailed out year in, year out. In the financial year 2022-2023, for instance, the government spent about 1.8 billion funding these SOEs in terms of bailouts. So some of the key issues that were also earmarked or picked up in the study were lack of transparency and accountability, as well as leadership, political interference, where politicians appoint SOE boards, for instance, on the accounts of political cards, as opposed to merit that should then be the determining factor in terms of appointments. The study also found out that the current performance level, as it stands currently, reveals significant misalignment with the Vision 2030 targets, which is only 4.5 years away. So the study reveals that many SOEs are not yet operating at the efficiency and profitability levels necessary to underpin the country's industrialization, which is earmarked in Vision 2030, as well as the infrastructure developments and social inclusions objectives. So the overall financial sustainability of SOE in Namibia has been declining, with many exhibiting decreasing profitabilities, and this which then threatens the long-term viabilities as earmarked in Vision 2030. So, in conclusion, many SOEs are not fully aligned with the financial sustainability that has been earmarked in Vision 2030, which demonstrates poor performance and a clear need for reforms, particularly in terms of governance and strategic management, as well as transparency, to enhance their contribution to this very long developmental goal, which has been set since 2004. So there's also a need for realistic assessment of SOE's capabilities in terms of policy formulation, to link their policy and objective to that of Vision 2030, and policymakers such as the government, for instance, must develop realistic performance targets and implement reforms that align SOE capabilities with the ambitions, objectives of Vision 2030. So, in conclusion, while some SOEs demonstrate this good performance and those that is being found to be lacking, it's very important that they should strengthen their accountability and internal controls, such as performance-based incentives and transparency measures to improve accountability. SOE managers is also very important for them to implement performance-based management frameworks because the current systems that is earmarked or that is in place has been proven, as the study have found, not to be working. They also need to develop a strategic reform framework and incorporate the proposed novel HTML financial performance framework that has been developed. Part of this, which is an extract of this study. I think it's also very important that I should inform the audience that this study is an extract of the study that has been done on the financial performance of state-owned enterprise, which is part of which was part of my PhD study. And we've developed a framework, and we are busy rolling out pilot studies to see the effectiveness of this framework, and which so far has been proven to be really effective and would be able to help SOEs really improve their financial performance and align their strategic objectives to those of the country's national development, such as that of Vision 2030. It's also very important to have regular monitoring and evaluation systems because government currently, as we speak, the current Public Enterprise Governance Act of 2019 gives a provision for SOEs to provide financial statements and so forth annually, and as well as also produce their books to be audited, but there hasn't been really much done. So there hasn't been regular monitoring and evaluation systems in place. So that's very important that these mechanisms be implemented to ensure that the Vision 2030, should it be realistic, for it to be realized, the public enterprises need to really pull up their socks and do much. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. These are some of the references. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Da Silva, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And we thought it was only SMES, which is not in good hands, so even SOES are also not doing good, and we like the effects that you highlighted in there. Thank you so much, and just hang on there, maybe the people with concerns. Okay, so we would like to start with the first presenter in this session, who presented. It was Mr. Dennis Martin. Is there any, Mr. Dennis, are you still online?
Yeah, I'm online. I cannot just hear you very well.
Oh, you.
But the previous presenter was just hearing everything nicely.
The other one. Okay, I'm using. Okay. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear.
But I don't know what is because the Dr. Da Silva heard me when I. But then.
I hear you very well, yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay. is there anybody who would like to, maybe you have a question or a comment on Mr. Dennis Martin's presentation, who presented about the insufficient childhood services or programs in Namibia? Any concern? Okay, there are two.
Thank you. I just want to know, where was the study done, and can it be replicated elsewhere?
The study was done in Oshana region.
Can it be replicated elsewhere? Can we take the study and just, can I take it elsewhere and carry it out on the basis of the methodology and objectives and questions?
Hello?
Okay, are we going to allow Mr. He answered. Oh, parking, eh? But is it okay? Must we move on to the next? Okay, all right.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Mine is more of just maybe clarification of the alignment of your topic. So, because your topic is the impact of teachers' literacy beliefs. So the question is, or the comment is, how did you measure that impact? Because when I listened to that, I couldn't see how you measured it. And I thought when you are measuring impact, it's something which should be quantifiable. And it's not aligning now with your research methodology, which is quali. Maybe would you explain or clarify?
Okay, Mr. Dennis.
Yes.
Are you there? Did you hear the question?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here. I would want the second question to be repeated, but let me quickly answer question one.
All right.
Question one, I've got two parts. The first part is where the study was carried out. The study was carried out in Umbunja Circuit, Oshana region, and it can be replicated to the rest part of the country due to the reasons that it's generally affecting the whole country's literacy and numeracy. Because the title is the impact of the teachers' literacy beliefs, and looking at the current situation, literacy is not affecting only one part of the country. It's a national call. We previously heard Dr. Steenkamp was talking about this, that we are currently experiencing literacy and numeracy crisis. But she also did not even mention a certain part of the country. It means this is generally affecting the whole country. I might not have done justice to the question, but at the moment that's all I can say, unless maybe there's a follow-up question on that.
Is it fine, sir? Okay. We are satisfied here. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin. Would you like to respond to the second question now?
Yeah. I would like the question to be repeated. I did not really get it.
No problem.
Okay, Mr. Martin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, yeah, I was saying your topic just got this phrase, the impact of teachers' literacy beliefs.
Yeah.
So my question was, how did you measure this impact? Especially taking into account that you used the qualitative methodology or approach.
Yeah.
How did you measure this?
No, I'm looking at the influence of teachers
But your topic
because even the literature review, which is guiding the study, is also in agreement with what I have studied, because we are looking at the literacy interventions. Recently, the ministry was using AGRA, they brought in another program, and now they are currently using Joy Grammar. And it's just talking about the teacher is still the driving tool for the program to work. So the influence of the teacher on any program of teaching approach will always influence the outcome. That's why the measuring, or maybe the colleague is referring to, is not what I'm also interpreting, but I'm looking at the influence of the teacher on the matter, because the title is the teacher's literacy belief. What do they believe about how children learn? And now we are looking at influence of the teacher, also linking to the literature. When we are saying teachers believe on literacy play a significant role in how well learners learn to read and write.
Okay.
No matter how good, how resourceful you are, and you don't have a teacher who's making independent decisions on how they believe teaching and reading and writing should be done, it won't help.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We are satisfied this side. The third question. Mr. Dennis, hold on. The third question. For this one.
It's me.
Okay.
There was one here.
Is it not me?
Oh, you're next?
Yeah.
Okay, the third question. Okay, go.
Okay, me is more of a recommendation. I heard you talked about, it's a good research. You talked about the convention or the treaties that Namibia is a signatory to, the children, in terms of the children's rights. Is that correct? And my suggestion is that perhaps you can bolster your literature review with by starting with Namibia, especially the Constitution. These rights are quoted in the Constitution, especially Article 15 of the Constitution of Namibia, 1 of 1990, together with the Article 20, Sub-Article 1, Paragraph A and Paragraph D. And you can also read the Education Act of Namibia. I think those instruments will assist you to make sure that your studies is refined, because everything we do is within the law. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful contribution. Mr. Dennis, did you get that?
Yeah, thank you very much for the value added to the study. Those are some of the things that we are lacking, and once you have to consult those tools, they will really help lifting up the value of the paper.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. All right, do you have for Mr. Dennis?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Dennis, here comes your fourth.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dennis. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I wanted to find out two things. The first one, you made one of the recommendations that teachers must be allowed to use their own, you said their own something in the recommendation? Own beliefs. Yes, and then the second one is on the levels of the qualification of the teachers or the experience. Are these graduate teachers? Are these teachers who have been in the system for 5 years, 10 years, 15? Which groups of teachers are you recommending to say should use their own beliefs? Someone who is just graduated today, or someone who has been in the system for 10 years, 15 years, and 20? Novice. Sorry, you can answer at the end. The second one was on the standardization now of the beliefs. Teachers, I think, like any non-paid citizen, they have a right to work any part of the country. So if a teacher is going to bring their beliefs, let's say they are trained to teach in the books in Lutheris, now they are teaching somewhere there in Pumbu. Can they have that standard that are going to bring in from Lutheris to a school in Pumbu? And how do you standardize that? Because you are saying they should actually be able to apply their beliefs. Thank you.
Mr. Dennis, hope you got the second question. Did you get?
Yeah.
Are you able to respond to the second question? First.
Yeah. Let me quickly answer my colleague.
Yeah.
He highlighted important. Yeah. He highlighted important things where I said that the teacher should be allowed also to apply their beliefs. This one comes in because sometimes teachers are guided by too many documents. The lesson were already planned for them, the scheme of work for them just to put them into the paper, but there's not a room for them to really apply.
Are you done?
Yes.
Are you done?
Mr. Dennis, will you go ahead?
I'm going, yeah. Yeah, so they are not allowed to carry their own experience and do exactly what they think can help children learn how to read. Hence, experienced teachers and those who make decisions do things their way. So grade one, but you will realize one group is doing much better. And also the part that you are asking about which level of experience of teacher that I'm referring to, mostly I'm referring to novice teachers, and also some we only talk about, I've been working for 10 years, but somebody who just taught for 1 year is doing much better than you who have been teaching for 10 years. Sometimes we only talk about experienced teachers, but we are only talk about the number of years these people have been working, but not what they are doing in the class. So I'm really referring to those who are not doing the right thing. Those who are not going out of their way to make sure that they are applying the best or effective strategy. On the issue of maybe you might be working in Mwange region and you find yourself in Ranjamu, I think we still have to create an effective, good culture of teaching, wherever you go. You might find a culture of doing things, but still, what will change the children to do better is the way you are going to apply your instruction. But sometimes people want to adapt to a certain culture they found in the school, but still, there's nothing which is taking away the most effective way to teach. You can be a teacher for 10 years, but still your strategies are not good enough. I can only be a teacher for 1 year, but I'm using the best or effective way of teaching. So it's not really to say experienced teachers, it's only to say good teachers. Because even when I was collecting data for my PhD study recently, because I had to select respondents purposely, I go to the head of department and I have to ask the head of department, kindly refer me to the best teacher in your school. They don't really refer me to the teacher who have been there for 10 or 15 years. Some of the teachers that I was referred to have been only working there for 2 years. It means we look at your instructional approaches rather than the number of years you have been working. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Thank you so much for the response. Dr. Mwange? Da Silva. Okay, so Dr. Da Silva will be the last, but before Dr. Da Silva, then we have Dr. Mwange. Is there any concern when it comes to Dr. Mwange's presentation? Any contribution, any question? Dr. Mwange, who looked at marine, regulatory frameworks for sustainable marine ecosystems. Any concern, any contribution, any question around that presentation? Okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's a masterpiece of presentation. I just want to add on gaps. You know, the laws which we have, I think, are not conducive for development. If you see, like, maybe if I have committed a crime of pollution, we have spoken of pollution, or I'm throwing something maybe through oil, or I'm throwing plastic bags, you will see the Marine Act. It's not very, very thorough that when you commit this crime, what is the sanction when you get arrested? You will see the police officer has to go and look for the crime in another statute again. So the crime must be very, very clear, and the punishment must be very heavy. You see, maybe if I throw papers or anything, I can just go and pay a fine, then I'm out. But if there is a heavy punishment, I think that might be a gap in our laws. That's why we are having some of these problems again and again and again. We present papers and it is not in. That is just from a legal perspective. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much, sir, for the contribution. Sir, Dr. Mwange, would you like to say something to that?
Actually, that is just the complementing there.
Yeah.
We've taken note of that and reflect it in the article.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, Mr. Dennis and Dr. Da Silva, do you have anything to say on the presentation, on Dr. Mwange's presentation? Dr. Da Silva online and Mr. Dennis online. Do you perhaps have something to go? Yeah.
For me, I don't have any question. It's only maybe a recommendation or maybe just a follow-up. Just a recommendation on why he mentioned something like our SOs are failing to sustain financial status or something, that part. If we study, have got something to fill that gap.
Okay, yeah.
That we currently don't have in the country.
All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, the next, the third presenter was Mr. Masia. Mr. Masia, are you still online? Mr. Masia?
Sure, I'm still online.
Okay, so is there any colleagues, is there any concern, comment, any question on Mr. Masia's presentation who presented about the
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. Mine, I would just like him to present his recommendations because during his presentation, we could not get his recommendation. So, Mr. Masia, can you kindly provide your recommendation if you have, and if not, then that is also fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I recommended, I think I put it in this presentation, but if you're going to look into the document that are going to publish for this presentation, you see some recommendations. They include policymakers to devise policies or strategies that actually motivate the development of strategies that can help SMEs to build resilience, like training. They can also develop, engage with artificial intelligence for creating like early warning systems, things like that. That's what I recommended. And I also recommended the business themselves, the SMEs, to look for strategies themselves instead of them relying from institutional support, but themselves they should develop the strategies that can help them build capacities. Like if they can learn from previous situations or previous crises, if they can learn from them and build resilience from them, it will help them other than them abandoning the strategies that they adopted during crisis. Like some of them, what they do is when they are in a crisis, they'll do some improvisation. For example, during COVID-19, we see some of the SMEs adopted, hospitality, they adopted like takeaways, but in digital booking systems, because there was no, it was not easy for them to interact with their clients. Some of them adopted domestic marketing. But as soon as the restrictions were lifted, they abandoned those strategies. So those businesses that continued with those strategies, they actually build robustness. So I recommended also SMEs to build on what they have learned, not to abandon them soon after the crisis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir. Ma'am, are you satisfied? Okay, is there any other question or contribution to Mr. Masia's presentation? Oh. All right.
Thank you very much for the platform. Mine is not a question or a recommendation. It's just a comment of appreciation. So the presentations were great and the insights shared were very motivating. And to our presenters, thank you so much for the inspiration.
Wow. Thank you. All right. I know it's needed.
Oh, it's needed.
It's needed.
This one, I think I'm impatient for SMEs. Maybe I will give you my contact so that we can help each other. I analyzed there in the community there where they were struggling to have bread and other things, and I wanted to start a project. I bought all the equipment for over 300,000. Now I'm trying to invest. You find the rentings in town. You cannot even survive that competition. And we as SMEs, we've been finding a lot of challenges in terms of the factors of production, land, and as well as labor. Land where you can do your own business without going through someone this exorbitant. So I think in this case, I'm a patient. You are the doctor. I'm requesting for your cure so that you can help me. I've been buying this material and this equipment for the past, I think, more than 5 years now. So the equipment is there, is ready for production. So let's coexist.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, as well. You have been a good listener and a good follower because you always have beautiful contribution to each one of them. Thank you so much.
Can I? Excuse me a bit. It's Mukwambo here in Katima Mdilo. Am I still going to present in that presentation of mine?
Which?
It's Mukwambo.
Session number?
It's in hall 2. This is.
Mukwambo, Hamukoto, and Angelius Liveve.
Yes. What happened is that I've been waiting.
Oh, you have been waiting. Yeah. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here again.
Oh.
All right. Okay,
Present later on.
Yeah, you are the only person we thought you won't make it, but since you are here, let's just finish the last the comments for the previous presenters, and then you will be the last. You'll be closing the session anyway. All right, Doctor, would you like to say?
Yes, I just want to have a comment on Dr. Da Silva. SOE.
Okay, before we go to Dr. Silva, are we all done with Mr. Masia? Can we shift to Dr. Silva's presentation? Yes. All right, Doctor, you're welcome. You may start.
Thank you very much, Dr. Da Silva. That presentation.
I don't see him online.
Dr. Da Silva, are you still there?
He's gone.
He's gone, eh?
I know, I'm asking whether.
Dr. Da Silva?
I think Dr. Blessing is here, so.
Okay, so she can also take it. Yeah. Doctor, go ahead.
Yes. Very precise presentation. I'm so happy. There are so many articles that have been written and published on SOEs in Namibia, and it seems our political leadership, I don't know where they have, they do listen or even read some of these very helpful findings. The first thing that I wanted to find out was, even though it was a general presentation, there are some SOEs like we've seen from this presentation, from many other presentations, that other findings, where certain SOEs, the NAM waters of today's and all the rest, they keep on. Okay, they are doing excellent in terms of the governance and also financial performance. They're doing quite well. These of the telecom and all that, they do give dividends, that's right. But the majority, like the study, I've just indicated, they are not doing as expected. However, maybe we should find some study which specifically, take out the ones that are not performing and investigate what is really happening there. Like if you could focus on, there are so many, maybe it would be helpful. It might not necessarily be the same factors or reasons that might affect each one of these failing SOEs. We could maybe find out there might be some other factors or some other reasons why they are failing, to meet or to implement or achieve their mandate. That's my first observation. The second observation is on the recommendation, which are excellent recommendations. But I'm more interested in lack of performance evaluation monitoring in the SOEs, which was said, or which was actually, it came out under this presentation. However, what do you recommend for this to ensure that there is evaluation and monitoring, performance evaluation and monitoring in SOEs? We have identified it's lacking, but what do we recommend should be there?
Yes.
The last just a general question to the presenters. SOE's governance model, as we might already know, was the hybrid model that has been there. But we are seeing even this model is not producing the results as government expects, or even us as citizens expect. Now, with the new government that has just come in, they have introduced another model. So I just wanted to know what is your take on that, the new model that the current government has proposed for the SOEs to make them more efficient and productive. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Chinangwa. Maybe the speaker.
He asked the model, the governance model. I'm not quite sure what he wanted to find out there, but there's been a lot of shift in terms of governance models. From 2004 to 2006, there was a different governance model under the State-owned Enterprise Governance Council. So sorry, Doc, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I see now a race of, as we speak, currently the incoming government busy proposing a new governance model for the SOE, which is completely different. They are shifting away from the hybrid governance. But I just wanted to assure the panel, or just maybe to provide context. During my study, we did a breakdown of all the governance models. There are about 6 governance models: the hybrid governance, all the governance models. But the one that has been found most effective across all the studies has been the hybrid governance model, because it comprises of all the different components from other governance models. And I see this is what the previous government tried to achieve through the Ministry of Public Enterprises, that is now untimely been dissolved. But that governance model cannot perform on its own. It needs supporting mechanisms, enabling strategies, such as the leadership affecting the SOEs. As we speak now, the proposed model or the governance model that has now been proposed under the current amendment bill of 2025, where they were trying to establish the holding company, or where the SOE will now be shifted under the office of the Prime Minister. Already there in that in itself, there's a lot of conflicting issues there. Political interference, there will be a lot of issues of in terms of administrative bureaucracies there. So the model that our financial performance framework had recommended was the hybrid governance model, because it's independently, it is completely independent, and it operates, and it has been proven. If you look at the Singapore, for instance, SOE is one of the most effective SOEs in the world, and the Tiger, the Eastern Tiger countries that they've developed, that they've implemented that model has worked really, really well, and their SOEs are performing very well. Look at, for instance, in our neighboring country here, the Ethiopia. If you look at the Ethiopian airline, the model that they've developed for the SOEs, it's really one of the most effective models. I didn't get the first part of the question, so I'm really sorry. I won't be able to answer there.
Can I help you with the first question?
Yes.
Okay, the concern here is there's so much that has been said about SOEs. Dr. Mwange, if I'm right? Yes. There's so much literature about the failing of these SMEs. So his wish would be to see a study that tackles on those that are having challenges, because it's not all the SMEs that are not doing well. He has cited is a telecom that he said is paying dividends. So he wished for something new that would specifically focus on those that are not doing well. Would you want to come in on that?
Yes, of course. It boils down to leadership, for instance, as the first enabling aspect of any transformation for any organization to transform. It begins with the leadership. We need to shift away from a lot of political interference where the government is playing striker, goalkeeper, and the linesman, in a sense that they are operating as they are playing both roles as the policy maker. They are playing as all these conflicting roles that the government has been involved in the affairs of the SOEs has been the one that has been really affecting. And I think very important is just to get down to the whole issue. What is really affecting the SOEs? Is the leadership, is the governance. They need to get the governance model in place, and the governance model need to be supported. There should be strategic enablers that support this governance, and it need to be independent, where the board of directors need to be, for instance, recruited independently without influence from the state, where the chairperson, for instance, is recruited on a political merit as opposed to on a political card as opposed to merit. So these are some of the thank you so much. All right.
Okay.
Before he leaves, yes, I just have a comment, sir. Thank you for your presentation, wonderful. I wanted to find out the approach. Can't we maybe try to establish the internal challenges and externals? If you're talking about political leadership and the appointments and leadership, governance, etc., this should be regarded as internal. But we have got externalities. I'm looking at SOE, maybe let's say trust management. If you are talking of the Namibia was once part of, before independence, this was a huge body. It was handed over, yes, it was handed over to deal with the transport. The railways used to subsidize the airline, but it was split and Namibia became a standalone. And you realize now, because of the price of the fuel, the Jet A1, it could not sustain itself. Yes, the bigger airlines are struggling all over the world. So there is a need for that sustenance. It may not be necessarily the leadership, but it is just the global challenges that are happening. Then the second one is on the structure. Maybe if your study could have brought in like a time series study. What was happening before independence, what happened immediately after independence, and what is happening now? Yes, so that you are able to establish, is it the issue of bailouts? Because if you look at TransNami, for instance, I'm in tourism industry. Look at the trains. They are really, really important. Look at the movement of goods. Most of the goods now are moved to the highways and the trucks are on the road. It's affecting even livelihoods. People are dying on accidents because the trucks are just full in the roads. But previously, heavy goods were moved by the railways. Okay, but if you look at the equipment for the railways, if they are going to sell even that old iron that they have, they cannot actually finance themselves. You see? But the challenge we have is we are looking at what's happening now. We are not having the history. The equipment that is there for TransNami is so huge and it's lying idle somewhere. If you sell it to scrap metal, for example, scrap metal salvage, you can raise a lot of money and then you actually upgrade the railways and the transport. Yes. You were mentioning Ethiopian Airlines. The success of it mostly is because of the cargo. They move cargo more than passengers. So they subsidize the passenger side of flights, not that they are excellent. No. So we need to try to look at the history of our SOEs in Namibia and to establish what were they like, why were they put together, not split. Maybe the idea of saying this airline is good, but it cannot sustain itself, so there is some subsidy coming from the railways, from the cargo. That way, it can actually work. There is no SOE that can be blamed on leadership and appointments. It could be a structural fault, like something coming from the foundation, not necessarily that who is appointed. You can put a good leader, but if the engine is gone, it's gone. A good driver won't achieve anything. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you for the contribution, Prof. We take note of those inputs and we greatly appreciate.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Shimambo, for the contribution. And
I also have a comment. Yeah, that's a short one.
On which?
I think it's on Dr. Da Silva's presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe he should also explicitly look into the SOEs working in isolation with the state due to the failure to have a very beautiful model of how operational is going to take place. For instance, we have our liquidated Air Namibia, but you will find out that we have an excess of about $30 billion in the account for manpower. We have $40 billion in the account for now, but like the previous caller was talking about, who's doing good than the other is about subsidizing each other, either with ideas or to be able to help each other. There's no way the country is going to be successful when SOEs are working in isolation. You will find Namibia is going down, while Namibia have got billions in their account, which are not even planned to be utilized in the next 10, 20 years. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the contribution. Colleagues, I hope we are done with the comments and contribution on the previous presentations. We have Mr. Mukwambo, who has been online ever since, and now it's 5 o'clock. May I take 10 minutes of your time because we need to send him back, or he might not fit on tomorrow's program. What if we accommodate him? Just 10 minutes. Mr. Mukwambo? Mr. Mukwambo, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still around. Thank you very much.
All right, you have 10 minutes to run through your presentation, straight to the main, the key concepts of your what you're studying.
Okay, thank you very much, madam.
All right.
Our study is to do with the.
Mr. Mukwambo, are we able to share with us on the screen?
Yeah, let's see now whether it is possible now.
We can't even see your name on the screen. Oh, you're here now. All right.
Are you seeing it?
Yeah, we can see your name, only your name, but...
Or what about the presentation itself?
You are here. Full.
It's okay?
Yes. You may start.
Thank you very much. It's Mukwambo, Hamukoto, and Liveve. We thought of seeing whether the attributes of IK can help us bring about sustainable and inclusive education. As a result, we had to structure our heading as embracing the role of indigenous knowledge in fostering sustainable and inclusive education. That's the title. To introduce it, we say sustainable and inclusive education. These are essential for addressing global challenges. Sorry me for saying that is because they are two there. They are essential for addressing global challenges such as climate change, resources depletion. We talk of fish being depleted, the forest being depleted or finished up. They always have some problems, or they give us some problems. Indigenous knowledge of this self-system play a vital role in fostering environmental stewardship, inclusivity, and cultural continuity. Our research question is, how can IKS attributes be used to address inclusivity and sustainability? It can either be in science teaching practices or in any discipline which we are teaching. So the background which led up to that is we do understand that sustainable development is to ensure that what we have today, the generation to come after us will have. And that is on a similar note when we talk about sustainable education. This is sustainable education. The ideas we are having in both world fields, are we going to sustain them for the future generation to make use of them? Because indigenous knowledge, as we see, some of it is becoming extinct. But there are ideas which are there, which are helping us avoid these challenges which we are having today. Some of the dimensions of this sustainable education, which are also taken from what sustainable development, they are social, economic, environmental. Indigenous practices traditionally balanced human needs with environmental protection. There was no one, or there were few people eaten by crocodiles in the Kalambo River or in the Zambezi River. Why? It's because they were observant. They had some rules. Don't over harvest the fish because you finish. If you finish, the crocodile remains there without something. When you go there to find one and fetch water, it takes you instead because there's no one food. You go in the forest, you go and over harvest the food of the forest. The baboons, they come, they start disturbing you in your crop field. So that's how they sustained the environment. That's how IK is sustained. Supported by the Ubuntu philosophy, which promotes coexistence and respect for all living. The indigenous knowledge system, it does understand the violence pyramid, which states that the bottom one, they supply what is on the top. And those which are on the top, they do supply, they do depend on those on the ground, or at the best. And this is all entered in the Ubuntu what philosophy, whereby they say you must respect whether non-man or inanimate, respect it because it is part of you. So the manifestation of us to see whether we can have these attributes helping us to have sustainable education and inclusive education. How it manifests is the current science or any discipline practice often ignore indigenous ways of teaching. Overharvesting is seen today. Pollution and loss of biodiversity stem from neglecting indigenous ecological wisdom. Lack of intergenerational knowledge transfer, it threatens that transfer of that knowledge or the future generation what to see it. As a case in particular, I grew up in an area which is stony. During the rainy season, what would happen is all the stones they are covered up with what millipedes. So because of this fear or understanding of the Ubuntu, I'm not supposed to destroy anything created by the mighty. I would not step now on those stones, but it's mud. I would either resort to step on the stones because I will not make my legs, my foot dirty and my clothing. So I would avoid it to save the millipedes, the centipedes there. So when I started going to school now, that's when I realized the importance of that one now. As explained, that the centipedes and the other things, they help in what? In preventing, they eat up those cockroaches disturbing us, termites and so forth. When I started doing a discipline by the name nature study. So they are all linked. Indigenous knowledge explains it in another way. That this is a creature of so and so, so we must not harm it. It is trying to ensure that we keep on sustaining the what? The future generation. We have got the functional attributes of indigenous knowledge. Attributes can either be physical or can be chemical. Well, whether chemical or physical, they can still be coming up as what? Functional. That is, that particular attribute has got a certain function. So some of these characteristics or attributes of IK, we can talk of oral and tradition transmitted through stories and rituals, whereby now, if we say these stories, when you are in any discipline, it's associated because we don't talk of an indigenous knowledge in plural, in singular form. We say indigenous knowledges because there are so many. So on account of that, there is a story for each and particular one, phenomenon or event. So if we take these stories, these are going to be cultural case studies. We bring them into the classroom, it contextualized. They are community centered and place based. At a particular place, they might have that particular practice to ensure that they sustain whatever they want a phenomenon into the future generation. And when you go into another community, it changes, but their aim is the same. But however, in some other cases, you see the same cultural practices. Practiced here in Katima, where am I? You go in Divutu, where there's also a river, it's still practiced. You go to Kunene, they are doing the same thing. Let's take an instance. The Zambezi, Kabango, and the Kunene, they are all full of crocodiles. Once you venture there, it will take you up. But we still see some people, they go and swim in the Zambezi River, in the Kabango River, in the Kunene River. But when they do this, they go to special points where they go and swim, where they know a crocodile cannot invade that place because its abdomen is so soft. So these, they have studied these creatures, the crocodile, and then that's why we've got some similarity of what? Of practices. So also, experiential, it is adaptive. It is this adaptive that no, we can adapt it just as we say in the radical constructivism that no, adapt. The concept we teach, we adapt them to indigenous knowledge. We also have sustainability and stewardship as a core value which we might be having there. Contextualizing, are also some of the characteristics. Now, on the roles there, we say contextualizes science or any discipline because it's contextual that is indigenous knowledge. it encourages environmental literacy and responsibility. As I have said that they were those who understand what IKS, they were not over-harvesting fish. They were not over-harvesting what fruit in the forest. As a result, they were staying in harmony with what? Other animate or inanimate what? Organisms or articles. It promotes inclusivity by valuing diverse cultural perspectives. As we have said now, each culture might be doing a particular activity in a different way, but the aim is to what is the same as it is done in another area, as I have explained before. So this cultural aspect, it makes us, when we understand it is cultural, it makes us bring the aspect of inclusivity, that every learner must be included when we are teaching. Even the Umundu itself, it says we must not leave anyone behind. We must move all together. And this is where the cultural perspective is trying to bring in the inclusivity thing. Multicultural, you probe from a learner's what? A view of a particular concept. Not only that learner, because our classrooms are diverse. You go and you probe from another learner, Because these books, they are written by one author, from one particular what? Cultural group. So his presentation or the instances or examples he's giving, they are from his own one cultural group. They are not from disappearing culture, Kawambo culture. So when you're in Kawambo, you look for those examples there. Let's say we are in a classroom where the only Kawambo, but when you're in window, you have to probe each and every learner his cultural view of a particular concept. Another Herero, you ask his or her cultural view of that particular concept. So this brings what? Inclusivity. And as you relate this now, because you bring them through what cultural practice, cultural case studies, analogy also included there. Let's proceed to this other 6. Let's go to 7. Now, our methodology is a pattern.
Mr. Mukwambo,
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
We are now at slide 7. How many more slides do you have?
I'm having 3 more on left.
So you have 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Okay, just make it a little bit brief, yeah? Be brief, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That is the methodology there, where we took critical discourse analysis. The discussion and analysis here, we say it fosters the resilience, there is the environmental harmony. Number of authors mention the use of methods of reasoning found in IK. They tell you, you use analog, you use metaphor, similar. So we say these ones are the ones which are suitable for what? For bringing sustainable education and inclusive. When we use them as examples from each and every culture. That is, in 9 we go to the recommendation. There is a need to harmonize Eurocentric and Afrocentric worldviews in education. The blame game must be stopped. Incorporate IKS through contextualizing teaching tools, cultural analogies, case studies, artifacts, signals, and so forth. They bring this sustainable education. That knowledge, we keep on pushing from one generation to another as we bring them, because the analog is signals, metaphor we are using, we are taking it from the cultural group, different cultural groups. So that's our conclusion. IHS offers valid insights for achieving sustainable, recognized and targeted indigenous knowledge system. And we can achieve it through taking what Sila emphasizes. In short, let me go into detail. I thank you. I thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Mukwambo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just hold on a little bit for maybe there's somebody who would like to ask a question or make some make a contribution to your presentation, which was very
I'll be very happy to perfect it, yes.
Yeah, and then I just like the point that you're talking about people swimming and they know for sure there are crocodiles that side and they know when they are passive maybe. When they are passive and then they just dive in. They won't do anything. Is there any contribution, colleagues, to the wonderful presentation? Okay, let me bring the speaker to you.
I have a question.
Okay, then, just wait for
I don't know, now is there now a place where we can cross the Zambezi River Tikuna without being finished by the crocodiles? Now, can I answer now?
Yes.
Can I answer?
Just before you answer this, just one observation. First is on your topic, and your topic not aligned to your research question. Hello?
Yes.
Your topic is, you're saying an inclusive education, and yet your research question is about science, it's a subject or something. Can you quickly go to your slide on your research topic? Mr. Mukwambo.
Yes.
You cannot get the slide. Your research topic. Your research topic.
Oh, you want my research topic?
No, I can see it. I'm saying it's not aligned to your research question.
Oh, my topic is?
That's correct.
My topic is not aligned to my research question.
Yes. Oh, go down. It should be there for second slide.
Your second slide, in the introduction, I haven't seen the objectives or questions.
And we have the research question.
Oh, okay.
Research question, come check it. Let's check the second one. What is the second?
Maybe, doctor, you can have the mic. Once you respond,
the research question, how can IKS attribute be used to address inclusivity and sustainability? Instead of science teaching, they just put it as what? Discipline teaching practice.
No. You see, education is very wide. It's a wide concept, okay?
Now that's why we are saying we take it into each and every specific discipline, because each and every discipline has got some IKS examples which are reflected in the curriculum.
Mr. Mukwambo, can you listen to me?
Yes.
What I'm saying to you is, it's not aligned. If you say science teaching practice, you are confining it to the subject. Understand? It's a subject, and your topic is on education, inclusive education. That's what I mean, that's not aligned. So you need to change it here. For you.
What is now said?
Sustainable
teaching practice.
Or you can say maybe you change from your topic to science teaching practice instead of education. So you focus on a particular subject.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Another question?
Any other question? Okay.
Research. It's a good area of research.
Oh, they are just saying apparently it's a good area of research.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's refine it according to what the doctor is saying.
Suggestion. Yeah. So they like it here. They say just align it with doctor's suggestion, but remove that education and just contextualize it within a specific subject. That is your science then.
So can I put it in science and maths, because the examples which are in the document itself, they are to do with mathematics and science.
Seems like.
Okay, we are talking of science practice, science teaching practice. Maths is part of science, okay? So that's fine. As long as you put the science teaching practice on your topic, that will be fine.
Or on the topic?
Yes, it's science teaching practice. But in the body of your research you are talking of, you can also discuss about maths. It's fine. Maths is a science subject.
Oh, so that would be embracing the role of indigenous knowledge in fostering sustainable and inclusive science practices.
Science teaching practice.
A practice, the teaching is a practice.
Science teaching practice.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues, we have just, thank you so much, Mr. Mukwambo. And we have, yes, we have just reached to the end of our presentation. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for the contribution and your being here until the end of the session. We'll see each other tomorrow. All right, bye.
You can go now.